Are we ready?
All right, ready.
No bras required. The podcast where two girlfriends talk about everything from diapers to death and do it all braless and brutally honest.
I'm Megan. I'm a mom of four, lifelong educator, dance studio owner, coffee and wine snob, and never afraid to speak my mind.
And I'm Patty, mom of three, teacher turned leader, dance boss, loud laughter, tequila enthusiast, and professionally unfiltered.
Together, we've got over 30 years in education, 7 kids, 2 studios, countless bottles of wine and tequila, and a whole lot of stories to share with you.
What's No Bras Required all about? It's a space for women like us who are juggling life, entrepreneurship, parenting, work, marriage, friendship, grief, joy, chaos, and just need some real talk.
So, whether you're sipping wine in leggings, hiding in your car, or rage cleaning your kitchen, we're here for you. Hey, Patty.
Hey, Megan. How are
How's
you?
it? Oh, I'm doing good. How are you?
You know me, I'm living the dream.
Always, every day.
Always, every day.
Oh, all right. So, to get into our June fun, not really. I don't know. I feel like June's kind of heavy. Um, we're going to talk about anxious kids, exhausted parents.
Yes.
Yay.
Um, so welcome back to No Bras Required, the podcast where we hold nothing in except maybe our nervous systems. Barely.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, my nervous system's held together by caffeine, dry shampoo. Oh, yeah. Seriously. And pretending I'm fine.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
And today we're going to talk about something so many parents are struggling with right now, which is anxious kids and the exhaustion parents are feeling.
Right. Because today kids are dealing with pressure that we never experienced at their age. Social media, constant comparison, nonstop schedules, academic pressure, sports, dance, social drama that follows them home on their phones.
Yeah, yeah. And meanwhile, parents are over here trying to support emotionally overwhelmed children while quietly having their own mental breakdown in the Costco parking lot.
Yeah. So today we're talking anxiety, overstimulation, burnout, emotional regulation, and how to help our kids without spiraling ourselves into worst case scenario parenting.
And this is hard because our generation was basically raised on you're fine or stop crying, I'll give you something to cry about,
Yeah,
which I have a hilarious story about. Remind me to tell you
yeah.
this.
Suck it up, buttercup, right? Like
Yeah,
that was the motto.
rub
And
some
now
dirt in it.
and now our kids know words like overstimulated,
Yes.
triggered, emotional bandwidth.
Yeah, honestly. But it's some progress.
Yes, but our generation is struggling on how to deal with that.
Yeah.
So grab your coffee, your emotional support water bottle. Maybe this one needs some tequila or wine, and possibly your therapist's phone number.
Yeah. And welcome to No Bras Required. All right. Let's get into her.
Here we go. All right. So I think the big thing to realize, and it's hard for us as Gen X and maybe even millennials, because I think there are some millennials who are at this stage now too.
Yeah.
Um, and you guys were raised a little bit differently than us, but it, our kids are under constant pressure. And for Gen X, I think we have a really hard time understanding that because we are that generation who, while we did have pressure, we did have things that, that were expected of us. A lot of the pressure came from us having to raise ourselves in a way. Even if you had wonderful parents who were there for you, emotionally, there wasn't that same understanding that I would say coddling a little bit, right? Like that's what we would call it, is coddling. Nobody was going to sit there and listen to your feelings. Nobody had time about to care about that, nor did they know to care about that. Um,
Yeah.
so, like we had to push through, and it was hard. Socially, things were hard. Learning all of the new things that were constantly being thrown at us was hard. So
Yeah.
it's hard, for us, I think, as we're parenting and we're looking at kids and even teachers looking at kids nowadays, we're like, what is wrong with you? Like, this is life. This is how life is. Suck it up, buttercup. You're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Figure it out and move on, right?
Yeah.
And time to put your big girl panties on and just deal. And we just don't understand everything that our kids are going through and how it has changed for them in their childhood.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree with that. And I think it's really hard. And I think this is like the whole generational divide. Our kids are growing up in a generation that we didn't know, nor do we understand. And a lot of the time in parenting, when you need to parent, it's when something has arisen that needs to be dealt with now. Like, how often as a parent do we go back and reflect on how we did at the job of parenting and then go course correct later? Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't do it that way. There's no plans put in place for, you really screwed this up this year, but next year, here's our 10 step to get you to the next level of parenting.
Right.
So you're kind of good at it or you're not, and you educate yourself on it or you don't. But our kids today are living in that constant state of stimulation, pressure, and connection, and their brains don't get a break. And if you've ever spent any time in a classroom, you can like almost visually see the ping pong effect of like they don't know how to go. And the worst part is we're the ones that created it for them.
Right. Yeah, they don't know how to be bored.
No.
They have forgotten how to be creative. They don't know how to fill their time without some kind of stimulation.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they feel like they have to constantly be on. Um,
Well, and how
and
could they not? Like, really?
right. And how can you not? I mean, you know, I think looking at education, and I can only speak to the US educational system, but and I feel like you guys aren't that different than us, from what we've talked about, but what we're expecting kindergartners to be able to do at 5 years old is nowhere near what we were expected to do in kindergarten, what millennials were expected to do in kindergarten, even what we were asking kindergartners to do 20 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
we expect our kindergartners to come in and be able to know all of their letters, all of their numbers up to 100, to be able to read, to know like a ridiculous, I think it's like over 150 sight words immediately, and like there's no time for play. There's no time for rest. There's no time for creativity. There's no time for them to learn how to socialize because it's all about numbers and letters and reading goals and math goals. And, you've got to check all of these boxes to get them on grade level. And if you talk to any kindergarten teacher, anybody who's been doing this, any neuroscientist, the expectations that we have for our kids are not developmentally appropriate.
No.
And
Never did.
that's not just in school. I mean, that's in sports, and that's in dance, and that's pretty much anything, any kind of activity that a kid is involved in has just gone out of control right now with
What about even their appearance? Like, if I pulled up my elementary school photos
that would
and
be a
compared
fun
them
game. We should
to
do that
the
one day.
supermodels of today's elementary school, like,
Yeah,
Why are 8-year-olds in mascara for a school photo? Why?
right.
Like, why why do they
Why do they look like that?
we didn't get that treatment till glamour shots showed up.
Ooh. And that was like a birthday treat when
Yeah,
you were in middle school, maybe, like if you were
yeah,
lucky. It's not,
maybe
yeah, I mean, it was no makeup until you were at least 13. And
at least.
yeah, I, I
Yeah,
don't know. I mean, I think we have just become so focused on keeping up with the Joneses in so many different ways.
yeah,
Social media is a huge part of that. And now that we have a generation having kids and raising kids who grew up like this,
yeah.
right? Who don't know anything different, who grew up with social media. I mean, what Facebook started in what, 2008, 2007, 8, somewhere around there,
Something like that.
something like that. Those kids are 18 years old. Like babies that were born at the beginning of Facebook are now becoming adults
Yeah.
and they're going to have
Well,
kids.
it's
Like,
Charlie and Reagan
yeah, they have no concept of a world without social
without.
media.
Yeah,
That's so wild.
yeah. Well, and their whole lives are on the phone.
Yeah.
Documented, talked about. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't get a say in it.
No. I mean, who nobody thought about like asking your 2-year-old for permission. And I know there's people who are like, oh, I don't want my kids' face shown. Oh, I don't want them on social media. I think there's something admirable about that.
Yeah,
But it's also like, good luck trying. I mean, in this day and age when everybody's posting everything, um, I don't know. I wonder if we're going to have this big turnaround because we do have all of these people who grew up with social media, on social media, have maybe they were victims of some of the icks and
yeah,
ills of it that are going to swing the complete opposite way. Um, I would hope so, but right now, kids are all over it
yeah,
and it's a lot. It is
yeah,
a lot to constantly be on display.
yeah. Well, and like you used to come home after school, you'd get a break. If somebody wanted to be mean to you or talk to you, they had to come over to your house, go through your family, like either on the phone or at the door, right? Like, and we forget the act of picking up the phone and phoning somebody's house and having to talk to their parent or their sibling created another extensional family from the one that you grew up in.
Hmm.
And those people would become part of your village that would give you a kick in the pants when you needed one and would be there loving on you and cheering for you as extended family members. But now we don't build those relationships because you direct dial the cell phone. You don't have people don't really hang out. They don't just show up at your house and like, hey, you want to come and play. So we've lost that social skill of just like interacting and learning how to go, do you want to hang out? And
Yeah.
picking up social signals and body language cues. And I think that's why we're finding so many kids, while they may have the supermodel appearance in their elementary school photos, feel so awkward and out of touch and really don't feel like they have good friendships that will stand trial, tribulation, and the test of time because they don't actually know each other. They know what's presented to them.
Well, and I think they're afraid to be authentic.
100%.
Because if you are your authentic self, you are making yourself very vulnerable to the thoughts and opinions of other people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and like that is not new. I know
No,
that because
no.
we all had to put on an act in school. We all had to, you know, you were either the outgoing, boisterous kid, you were popular, you were part of certain groups, whatever, or you were the kid that just kind of like kept your head down and tried to
Get through the
hide
day.
and stay away and get through the day and hope
Yeah.
nobody noticed you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we all that's part of adolescence is trying on different personalities, trying on different things. Like, not either you really, really want to draw attention to yourself or you do not. Like, you were one or the other. There wasn't a lot of in between. And you were
Yeah.
just hoping to find your people. Um, and I think kids are still that way. It's just really hard for them to find their people because those private conversations that you would have, at the sleepovers or at lunch, everybody has a camera now. Everybody is videoing. Everybody is on FaceTime. Anybody could be recording. It's almost like we're raising kids to be paranoid of what's going to get out there.
Yeah.
And that's hard. It is hard because if you are ever socially rejected at this age, you don't live that down. It's not like a news cycle. It's not going to go away in 15 minutes
Right. Well, and somebody can bring it back up if they want to
at any point in time.
at any point in time. Yeah. Yeah. I think, yeah, we used to leave school and escape the drama, and now kids today are carrying the cafeteria in their pocket.
Yeah.
It's like, yikes. Yikes, kids.
Yeah. I mean, but also, like, why does a 13-year-old have a busier Google Calendar than you do? I think there's something
Well,
to be said of, are we teaching kids what real friendship is, or are we teaching them that the more friends you have, the better?
yeah,
And because that's what social media tells them.
yeah,
And so they are feeling obligated to go to all of these events, to be around all these people, to put on
yeah,
this show. And it's like, are these real friendships or are they acquaintances? And I think as adults, that's our job.
right?
Do we showcase that? Or are we just as much falling into that trap of, oh, I need to go hang out with this group of people because of this, and this group of people because of this. And you're busy filling up your calendar with a bunch of stuff that you don't even have authentic friendships.
Yeah, right? Well, that's always been the case. Parents model behavior and make it acceptable for the kids. And I will die on this sword. You can tell your child, our family doesn't believe in that. But if you're modeling something different, your behavior is a language and it speaks louder than your words do.
Yeah,
Always,
always,
always.
always.
Yeah,
And, I mean, I think you don't answer texts immediately. I mean, I hope most adults, we don't.
no,
Um, but our teens are expected to respond within like 2.5 seconds, or now they're not friends with
yeah,
whoever's on the phone
yeah,
because they think they're mad at them. Like,
yeah,
think about the anxiety that creates, that if you're not always on, like, God forbid you like take a shower and don't bring your phone in with you.
yeah. Or like, what do they call it? Being left on red?
Right. Yeah. I'm like, why do you even have read receipts on?
Yeah.
Turn those suckers off. Like, I
Uh,
don't have them on. You don't know if I've read your text or not.
there you go, right?
You could probably assume I did read it and I forgot to reply. Like, let's be honest.
So guilty of that.
So,
So guilty
because
of that.
I will read it and then I'll be like, I'll get to that later. Nope.
Or you start typing and then you like something happens and you leave it.
Yep.
And then when you go back like a week later because they've retexted you or you need to get a hold of them and you're like, you
Oh,
said it, then you're like, sorry, this was in my I said so many sorries. Sorry, forgot to hit send. Sorry, forgot to
yeah.
finish the sentence.
I responded to you in my head. Does that count?
No, I've been informed no.
Oh,
No.
sad day.
No.
Oh,
But let's get into some facts here. Like anxiety disorders are among the most common mental health conditions in children and adolescents.
yeah.
That is frightening.
Oh, I can tell you it is. I mean, the number of 504 plans that we have
Yeah.
just at my one school, which is a high school, I would say 90% of them are for anxiety.
Yeah. Okay. And can you explain what a 504 plan is? Like for people that,
So there's two different sets of plans. You can have an individualized education plan, which is like a special education plan, right? That these kids have special needs in some form or fashion, learning disability, behavioral disability that affects them, and it creates such a gap in what
yeah,
they should be able to do and what they actually can do, right?
yeah,
So they need specially designed instruction to help them reach grade level to be
yeah,
where their peers are.
yeah,
504 plans are kids who don't qualify for special education. They are typically at grade level or close to grade level, but
yeah,
they have some type of a condition or something, usually a medical condition like anxiety or ADHD or really like sometimes we have ones for like actual I mean, I'm not saying these aren't medical conditions, but like cyclical vomiting or migraines or seizures, things like that.
yes,
So like their condition affects their ability to keep up in the educational environment. They might need some extra help. Like they are capable,
yeah,
but this is kind of putting a roadblock in their way. So there's not a gap for them necessarily, but like they may not have the executive functioning skills that they need, or their anxiety causes them to panic. So they need extra time on tests so that they can have their panic attack and then move on and finish the test, or like obviously we want to like work with them to not have panic attacks over tests, but so it's just giving them some accommodations, especially for tests and large projects, to kind of help them get over that hump, whatever's getting in their way. So yeah, a lot, I mean, a good number, like I said, around 90-95% of ours are anxiety. And that's scary. That is
it
scary.
is. Especially when, like, and I had this conversation with a group of my dancers. This was probably, I don't know, a year or so ago, but they're like, Miss Patty, what did you guys do? Like, what was anxiety like for you guys? And I'm like, we didn't have anxiety. And they go, what? And I'm
I
like,
mean, maybe we did,
I'm
but we
like,
surely didn't call it that.
I don't remember anxiety being a word,
Oh,
honestly. And so, and they're like, well, what? And I'm like, well, we had like, there was always the nervous kid, like the one that would cry a couple tears before a public presentation. But I'm like, but they've taken public presentation out of curriculum now. Like, you guys don't really have to stand at the front of the class and present things anymore. Um, but I'm like, nobody actually cared about our feelings. Like, and, and I don't think that that was right. But I also don't know that we should be paying as much attention to the feelings because what they're focusing on is getting the accommodations. And one of the kids said to me, well, like having ADHD or something like that is like having your eyebrows on point was a few years ago. I'm like,
mm-hmm.
explain this to me. They're like, well, they get all the exceptions and special privileges. And I'm like, wait, so you guys are looking at this as like a good thing to have. And they're like,
Yeah,
well, it kind of makes you special in the school system.
you
And
get
I it
extra time.
blew, yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
blew my mind. They get all the exception things like, and I'm like, so having like, because it's called like ADHD, it's called a disorder. I'm like, when we grew up, the last thing you wanted to be labeled with was a disorder.
Yeah.
And now they're seeking it out. And I'm like, wow, has the pendulum swung?
I mean, we have a doctor in town who parents can pay them to say that their child has anxiety or ADHD, will walk
Yeah.
them. I mean, and these are kids who are taking advanced placement classes, like college level classes
Yeah.
for college credit, who are making straight A's, who have like a 5.0 GPA on a 4.0 scale, and, have almost a perfect SAT score. And they're getting accommodations because this doctor will say everybody, like seriously, anybody and everybody who walks in there has anxiety or ADHD. and then they get 504s. And like parents get upset when we're like, there's no there's no reason that they need this. They're
Yeah.
functioning just fine in the educational environment. Well, they just feel like they can't finish on time. Well, they finish on time. like,
And
but
yet the
they shouldn't.
results show otherwise.
Right. Like
Yeah.
they're not finishing the test and getting 70s on it every time. Like they're finishing and they're getting 99s or
Yeah.
100s. Well, they just it causes them so much emotional stress to get to that point, and they just feel like they don't do well, and they shouldn't have to feel that way when they're taking a test. And I'm like, "Oh, what has
Why?
happened?"
But that is the problem right there. They shouldn't have to feel that way. Why? If you are alive, you are going to have stress. And this is what I told my kids. You will have stress.
Yeah.
There's good stress and there's bad stress, but all of that is dependent on how you handle it.
Yeah.
Why don't we teach them how to manage what they're feeling, put words to it, and move on?
Well, and also
Like the only way
normalize it,
through, yeah,
right?
the
Like
only
it
way to
is
get to the other
normal.
side is through.
Yeah,
It's totally normal.
it's totally normal. And so we're taking everything that is normal. And, it's just like what we talked about before a long time ago of, we're not even helicopter parenting anymore. We're bulldoze parenting. We want
Yes.
everything for our kids to be easy. We want everything for our kids to not cause them any stress, anxiety, pain, anything. Like you are trying to pave the way for them, and then they end up coming out of school and they have no functional skills.
Yeah. Because
I
they
mean,
haven't been allowed to live.
yeah, and the school system is having to bend to this for parents because it's gotten so ugly that, there's a lady who here in the US is suing her high school because she graduated summa cum laude. So she had like a 4.0,
Okay.
thought she was like in the top 10% in her class, got out of school and couldn't figure out why she could never get a job. Went through testing and found out that like she can't even read at a third grade level. She was passed along all these years, given so many opportunities to redo things. Her parents bulldozed her way through school. And so she's suing the school system for failure to educate her.
Shouldn't that land on part of the parents too? Like split the bill if she wins. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I know. I have lots of deep feelings about this, but I'm like, you know what?
So many
So
feelings.
many feelings about this, but it, we, and it's no wonder that if we've done this to kids their entire life,
Yeah.
that when it does get hard, like I see this in high school all the time, we socially promote from elementary school to middle school. So like you can fail your end of grade tests, you can fail the courses, you can just not show up. I mean, like
Yeah.
you can pretty much do nothing from kindergarten through 8th grade and you're going to get moved on. That is the way of the world right now in the US. And then you get to high school and it counts because now you have to pass the class to get the credits to be able to graduate. And you have to have so many credits and so many subjects to be able to graduate.
Yeah.
And these babies coming in 9th grade are like, wait, what? You mean I can't just not turn in my work and I can't not try and study? Like you're gonna make me take this again? Yeah, buddy. Like you don't get a choice on this. Like you have to learn this.
Surprise.
And
Yeah.
they struggle. They
Of
struggle.
course they do. We've taken their formative years away on natural life consequences.
Yeah.
Like, and it drives me insane because the same thing happens in sports, in like, I don't care if it's dance, hockey, soccer, whatever it is. If the parents aren't happy, they find a way around the rules and create new programs, new teams, new levels, whatever,
Hmm.
to accommodate their child. But it's like the cream of the crop will always rise to the top. The difference comes in those that learn hard work and dedication and develop a little grit from rubbing some dirt in it. They will sometimes come in. Like, and I always find it used to be around that like 14, 15-year-old range where it's like, where did that kid come from? And they're like this dark horse. It's like, yeah, you've been talented naturally. This one's been putting in the work because they've got the love for it, whether it's academics, sport, whatever it is, and they will overtake you
Yep.
because hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard any day of the week.
Every time.
Persistent hard work, that's a total game changer.
Yeah. Well,
But
and I mean, and then we wonder why, like the CDC reports increasing rates of persistent sadness and hopelessness among teenagers in recent years.
yeah, right?
Like, of course.
Of course. Like, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah.
And then the research also shows like heavy social media use is associated with higher levels of anxiety, depression, sleep disruption in adolescence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yet we like what bothers me so much is, I have to talk to parents all the time, usually about the kids that are in trouble or are struggling, and their parents are like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
And part of me, they're like, I can't control them. I can't get them out of bed. They're 16 years old. I'm like, I get it. I mean, I know they're too big for you to like get them out of bed. You can't put them in the car anymore. You can't do the things you would have done when they were a toddler. But I want to look at them and I can't say it, but in my head, I'm like, had you done this when they were 2 and 3,
Yeah.
had you not let them quit every time they had a whim of, I don't want to do something, I don't like it anymore, okay, fine, we don't have to do it. You taught them this. You taught them if they don't like something, they don't have to do it. And
Yeah.
now they have to do it. And you don't understand why you can't make them do it and what
Yeah.
you're going to do now.
Yeah.
Honey, they're going to be living in your house until they're 50 years old because you never made them do anything.
Yeah.
Like you didn't
Well,
teach them real life.
even like, I'm going to take it to the dance industry for a minute. 3-year-olds used to start with a year-long 30-minute class. Then they would progress to 45 minutes or an hour as they got into 5 and 6-year-olds. Now, studio owners are having to provide 6-week or 8-week or 6-month sessionals because, well, they don't want to do it for a full year. It's
Hmm.
like, but that's where the talent and the stuff comes from. And if you compare the kids that are doing the sessionals to the kids that do the full year ones are the ones that typically come back time after time and are stronger. Do they enjoy every class? Absolutely not. Nope. And I can tell you where the drop off periods are going to be because it's been studied. This is across sport. It is usually 6 to 8 weeks in when things get hard because they're learning to master something. And it gets boring. Mastery is boring. But if you don't help your kid to push through the boring, they're never going to realize the prize on the other side of the hard things that they were struggling with. And now they've got that sense of pride, that sense of confidence, that sense of I can do hard things and be good at them. We're robbing them of that when we go, okay. And when parents go, well, it's just not worth the fight. God, I hate that phrase. I'm
Oh
like,
my gosh.
you don't think your kid is worth the fight
Right?
to get them in the car? It's not even hard. They're 3. You hook them under an arm, put them in their car seat. What would you do if they broke their arm and it was an emergency and they didn't want to go to the doctor?
Right?
Oh, it's not worth the fight. Heal at home.
I
It's
know.
just the most ridiculous
I know.
thing ever. But it takes time, it takes patience, it takes effort. And if parents don't think it's worth the fight, I genuinely I feel so bad for their kids. It's like have them finish the session, and then if they don't want to do it in the next season, move on to something else. And don't put your 3-year-old in 8 different activities
Well,
in
that's
one.
the problem.
It's too
90% of the
much.
time, they're in too
Yeah.
many things
Yeah.
and they're exhausted, or you've put them in dance right after you picked them up from daycare. They haven't seen you all day long, and then they finally get to see you, and then you throw them into an activity. Of
Yeah.
course, they're not going to want to leave you.
Yeah.
It's, yeah, there's, we have the generation of instant gratification kids now raising kids,
Yeah.
and they were never taught how to persevere and how to work through things. Like that was the beginning of this whole issue. And
Yeah.
now they're raising young kids and we're seeing it. I mean, we see it all the time in the studio. Like you said, it's not worth the fight. Well, they just don't want to. Well, they change their mind. They're 3. They change their mind every minute. I mean, like I've raised 4 3-year-olds. I promise you. I know. It's like we like
Yeah.
bananas 1 minute, and then, as soon as you put it on the plate, they don't like them anymore and they're trying to throw them on the floor. Come on now.
Yeah. And they're the ones that put it in the cart the other day at the grocery store.
Well, they're the ones that just asked for it 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It,
And they don't like it because of the way you peeled it.
yeah, right.
That used to drive me nuts. Yeah. To drive me nuts. And there is a place for anxiety, but we're talking like anxiety versus normal stress, right? Like
Yeah,
not every kid has an anxiety disorder. Some kids genuinely need more support than just relax. But the large majority of them are being taught to use it as a crutch instead of, like, I would love for parents to say to their child, you have ADHD. And I really wish they would call it executive functioning
hmm,
because that's what it is. You have executive functioning, which means your brain works different than other people's. So you might struggle with it in this area, this area, this area. But in this area, this area, this area, it is going to serve you so well. We have to find the ways that your brain works with its executive functioning so that you can thrive in the world rather than, well, I'm going to go talk to your teacher and we're going to make her change that. And we're going to make the world change to suit you. Because exactly what happened with that girl who wants to sue the school, they get out of the school and it doesn't work in the real world.
right. Yeah, the world is not going to change for you. And
No,
um, it's really hard that there's more and more pressure to, I mean, and we absolutely need to accommodate for real disabilities, but
absolutely.
there are ways that we can help teach kids how to think differently,
Yeah.
how to learn coping skills. We all have things that we struggle with.
Yeah.
And the part of it is, and the reason a lot of this was established was to give kids those coping skills they need in order to be able to function in the real world. Because your 504, your IEP, well, the IEP will go into college, but the 504 doesn't. And, so like all these parents that are coming in getting this 504 for anxiety and ADHD in their junior year because they want them to have extra time on the SAT. And I'm like, you understand, you only have this through high school.
Yeah.
Like that's it.
Yeah.
And
So
maybe
how are
it's
you going
going
to get through it at college?
to, right. Like maybe it helps them get into the college of their dreams, but let's be honest, probably not. And it's not going to make a difference. And then it goes away. They do not have to follow this whatsoever. Those professors are not going to care.
Yeah. And your mom won't be able to say a thing about it because
Right.
they're not giving your marks or anything.
So rather than, working through it, get your kids some therapy, get them some help, like
Yeah.
work through it now while it's safe before you send them off on their own. And then you don't understand why all of these freshmen are quitting college.
Yeah.
Like the dropout
Exactly.
rate freshman year in college is astronomical.
Yeah.
And people wonder why.
Yeah.
like because the colleges aren't caving to this.
Well,
And
and
they're, I know, thank God,
thank
right?
God. Could you imagine your doctor? Just a minute, I'm feeling anxious and I need some time to think about this. Meanwhile, you're in open heart surgery. Could you imagine?
Right. It's very stressful. Your heart stops and they're like, "Oh, I need to go do some I need a calm down corner so I can get myself together and figure out what to do." Like there's I think normal stress, right? Normal stress. Those are nerves before a performance or a presentation.
Yes.
Normal stress is the pressure of school. You
Yeah.
have a big test coming up. You have a project. You have a lot of things like in your schedule and on your plate, and you've got to figure out how to manage it.
Yeah.
There's friendship conflict. You know, you're not always going to communicate well with your friends. There's always going to be some type of conflict at some point socially.
Yeah.
There's stress of competition. Am I as good as this person? Or are they better than me? What's their GPA? They're doing more than I am. Like that is normal. And
Yeah.
that helps kids grow resilience.
Yes.
When it becomes anxiety, and people label that anxiety.
Yeah.
That is the new it word, right?
Yeah.
It's the new thing. Um, but now, like what actual anxiety is when that fear is constant and it's irrational fear.
Yeah.
Like they're stressed about the worksheet that didn't even count for anything,
Yeah.
or even just taking notes, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not something that you should have a little bit of stress about. I mean,
And
they're,
they know that. Like
yeah,
they're cognizant of the fact that this is
this is not,
irrational,
yeah,
but they cannot stop it. Yeah.
right. Their sleep is affected. They're not sleeping,
Yeah.
right? Their stomach gets upset or they get headaches that happen regularly. Like their body is telling them something is wrong. They start to avoid activities. Their
Yeah.
panic becomes frequent. Their emotions feel overwhelming on a daily basis. And, I know it's hard with adolescents to understand the difference between the two because sometimes this is also just adolescence.
Stress. Yeah. Well, I was
It's
like
just stress
looking
in
at
adolescence.
listening to the list. It's like I remember having like fights with friends and not being able to sleep and having a stomach ache and worrying before going to school and didn't want to go and like I have felt all of those. Would I say I have had anxiety? No.
No,
It
no,
was
because
just more
that's
stress.
situational, right? Like that
I
is
didn't want that.
situational. That is due to a situation that you were in and an event that happened, and you can trace it back to that. That's where a good therapist comes in, not
Yeah.
just some doctor who's like, yes, you have anxiety, you check all these boxes. It's like, no, dig a little deeper and figure out what it is.
Yes.
Is there something socially that's going on? Is it that, usually that's exactly what this comes from. And it's on a daily basis, but it happened for like a week or two and then you got over it.
Yeah.
You moved on.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like, oh my gosh, my kid's been like this for 3 days. Let's go get you some medicine and get you a diagnosis. And, I mean, I, like I said, I see it all the time. Like your kid's in too many AP classes. No wonder they're anxious. You've overscheduled them and like overstimulated them.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
about
Well,
you?
this is why the just calm down doesn't work too, right? Like
Right.
you can't logic somebody out of an anxious nervous system. So when we are getting if you are talking to your children about it, the first thing you need to do is validate how they feel. And this is, I will say, I struggled with this being the Gen X that I am. I would be like, well, that's ridiculous. Why do you feel like that? And I would try to explain why they shouldn't. That never worked. 100% failure rate. Like,
Do not try.
do not try. Yeah, validate their feelings. Like they feel how they feel. And it is okay.
Yep.
Then regulate before you get problem solving. And I think the best regulator of all, like Dilly used to always bring me a sandwich. I didn't even know that I was getting snippy or sharp. Would just deliver a sandwich, and I'm like, oh my god, my kid knew before I did.
Yeah.
But glass of water, strong hug, hold them tight like a weighted blanket, and just hold them. We had a saying at our house. It's like, let me hug you till your love tank is full. Or I'd be like, is your love tank empty? And I have a few students at the studio that will come to me, and they are a little bit more on the dysregulated side, but they know to go, Miss Patty, my love tank is empty. And I just hold them, and you hold them for a little bit longer until your heart has a chance to talk to theirs. And you can feel it when they do, right? Like they
Yeah.
just soften, they take that breath, but mostly stay calm yourself. The other thing that contributed to my 100% failure rate was my emotion as a parent on what my kid was going through. If I was fired up, it gave them reason to get fired up and they stayed fired up way longer. That helped nothing. It contributed to nothing.
Yeah.
And that's the hardest part. And when I did screw up, I did use the phrase with my kids. And this was more when they were older. They'd be like, Mom, I don't want you to get upset. And I'm like, well, it's going to depend on what you tell me. I am a human being having a human experience. And when I put it to them that way, it gave them a little bit of, oh, and I'm like, also, you're the most important thing in the world to me. So my opinions tend to be stronger, my feelings a little deeper, more passionate, if you will. But giving the kids that preface to what they were about to tell me or preface to the conversation, it always ended up better.
Yeah. Well, we talk about it in so dealing with dysregulated kids. And anxiety is a kid who is dysregulated. Their fight or flight limbic
Yeah.
system has been activated. And so they are in panic mode. And
Yeah.
for most of them, anxiousness is they're going to flee
Yeah.
or they're going to freeze,
Yeah.
right? Like they're not usually going to fight, but they're in one
But
of
there's
those.
some.
There are
There's
some
some.
who will.
And you will discover them quick and early.
Right. But they're back in that like fight,
Yeah.
flight, or freeze.
Yeah.
That's where they are when they are having anxiety. And so one, look at them and like, are we in fight, flight, or freeze, or are we just anxious? I mean, not anxious, but like stressed. Because there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
Like it's okay to feel feelings. It is absolutely 100% okay. You can name them, you can talk about them, you can then talk about where you're going to be. But when they have like flipped that lid and that prefrontal cortex has been disabled and we are in fight, flight, or freeze, you've got to get them re-regulated first. They are having an emotional release, and that's usually in a form of crying, screaming,
Yeah.
something, right? They
Yeah.
have to let that emotional release happen before that lid can be put back on.
Yeah.
And that's where you have to just sit. And as our good friend Jody, Dr.
Yeah.
Jody, talks
Okay.
about, and walk them home, right?
Yeah.
Like you've just got to be there. You've got to listen. You've got to let them vent and just get it all out. And it is really hard to do because sometimes it comes out in a very big way. But you can see them amping up. And if you can
Yeah.
talk them down ahead of time, then you're good. But a lot of times we don't get them there. Like we don't catch it early enough. And so we're in the full losing it. And then that they're re regulated when they can eat or they can drink.
Yeah.
Because somebody who is still in fight, flight, or freeze cannot eat or drink.
Yeah.
And so you've got to get them back to that point. Then now you can have rational thought. Now you can talk through what happened. Now you
Yeah.
can talk through, and you don't go straight to what happened. You go into where are we going to go from here?
Yeah.
Let's talk about where we're going to go from here. And then we can go back to, okay, let's talk about what happened and how we got here.
Yeah.
Because they have a plan and now they know what that plan is going forward. So that creates some safety for them. And then you can go back into that traumatic event, that whatever it was that caused them to flip their lid, and try to understand where that happened and why it happened,
Yeah.
right? Um, but I mean, nobody teaches you that. Like there's not a parenting class on that. We learn about like holding your babies and bouncing them on your knee and changing their diapers and doing all of that stuff, but like we don't learn how to handle this. And
Yeah.
this starts as early as toddlers. I mean, it starts when they're babies. We have more skill for it, but like the toddlers, this is where it's at.
Well, and I think you have more patience for it when they're babies because they're completely helpless and 100% dependent on you,
Right.
right? So as they get older and could do a little bit more for themselves, your expectations grow. But it's like, have we taught them what they need? And just going back to what you were saying, like with kindergarten and how kids are expected to know all of these things. When I went to kindergarten, the requirements were you had to know your phone number, your address, you had to be able to write your name, and you had to be able to get yourself dressed to go outside.
Zip a zipper.
Zip a zipper. It was school readiness skills and safety.
Hmm.
If lost, who do I return this child to? Do they know their number or how to get hold of their parents and an address? And then also, like, can they get themselves, like, oh, and you had to be potty trained fully.
Hmm. Yeah.
And those were school readiness skills. Then we went to kindergarten, we learned socialization and hierarchy and how to get along with our friends and sharing and taking turns and all of the things. And if you got dysregulated there, the teachers were allowed to deal with it.
Yeah.
Teachers are not allowed to deal with it anymore because parents don't like how the teachers are dealing with it.
Well, we have kids right now in kindergarten who are coming in who've never been taught how
No.
to regulate their emotions. And so they're not getting their way. They're being told no, and they're flipping tables and they're throwing chairs and they are
Yeah.
losing their crap, destroying classrooms. And teachers are having to make the choice of, do I protect the other 20 kids in this room, or do I help regulate this kid?
Yeah.
They can't do both
Nope.
because
And
it's
meanwhile,
dangerous.
parents are online saying my child didn't learn anything today.
Yeah. How are they supposed to? Like, y'all, I mean, I don't think everybody understands. It is, it's bad. It's
Yeah.
bad right now. And there are so many kids that are coming into school that have never, ever, ever been told no,
Yeah.
that have not gotten their way. And so they are put into a situation where they are now one amongst, I mean, our class sizes are even smaller, 16, and they can't handle it.
Yeah.
And it, like, and these aren't kids. I mean, I'm not talking about the kids that have autism. I'm not talking about the
No.
kids that have, some severe disabilities, some kids who just haven't been identified yet.
Yeah.
This is a normal basis. They are coming in with some serious social and regulatory deficits.
Yeah.
And these teachers are expected them to teach them all of their letters, their numbers up to 100, how to add, how to subtract, how to, how to
Yeah.
read by kindergarten. And you're like, they can't even sit in the chair. They can't follow basic directions. They can't be told no without losing their crap. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
something's got to give. Either parents need to parent and need to figure it out, um, and quit just putting kids on tablets all the time, or we need to go back to, all right, kindergarten's where we learn these
Yeah.
things because they're not going to learn it at home.
Yeah. I have a very unpopular opinion on what I think should happen, but
Say it. It's a safe place.
I think if a school has tried everything to get this kid on board and the parents are unwilling to be part of the solution, That child that causes so much disruption in a classroom for the others should be homeschooled until said time that the parents can get on board with the school plan. That is not for everybody. That is like, and I agree with everything you just said, but I do not think the behavior of one or two dysregulated kids should affect the educational um, learning of others. And right now, schools are not conducive learning environments because of what is being allowed and tolerated. And as soon as we make the parents get on board, because otherwise they have to homeschool, I think we'll see a big change.
Yeah. Well,
That
I
doesn't
think
mean I'm not saying don't support those parents. If those parents are trying everything and they don't, but we know the difference, right? The ones who are
absolutely.
trying everything, there's a difference of the parents that want to be part of the solution and how do I help my child, and the ones that are like, no, I'm going to drop them off on your door and you're going to do it the way I tell you to do it, and I'm not going to help you when everything blows up, and it's going to be this way forever. There's a
Well,
difference.
yeah, they blame us. And, I think this is where, uh, let's going for unpopular opinions. I think this is why the school vouchers, the charter system, the private school systems are becoming so attractive to people because seriously, because there they can kick them out.
Yep.
They can send them back to the public school. They
Yep.
don't have to deal with them. You don't meet our expectations. You don't follow our rules. You don't do what you're supposed to do. You don't belong here. Goodbye. And public school is having to absorb all of it. We don't get a choice. We don't
Yeah.
get to kick them out. There are laws that say we have to educate
I know.
everyone,
I have a
regardless.
very well,
Yeah,
my popular opinion on that too. The day a government official that is putting these rules on teachers that you have to do it works in a classroom and it takes the amount of shit and abuse that teachers take, then I'll let them listen. I will listen. But
right.
until that day, they're just saying deal with it, having never experienced it day in, day out. And they're wondering why our nursing population and our teacher population is it declining rapidly.
Well, yeah, because they're saying deal with it and we're not going to give you the money or the resources to help you.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well,
Or
here we are.
solutions. Or
Yeah.
solutions
No,
like
and in
that are
fact, we're going to
real.
take the money away from you and give it to these charter and private schools. So people like us can go there because we don't want our kids in that mix and with these kids.
Yeah.
And we are creating a class system again of
100%.
upper class and lower class. And if you don't have the money or the
Sorry.
resources, sorry, this is what you get to deal with.
Yeah.
It's hard. It is really, really hard. But this, and then it creates anxiety for kids who are having to go to school in an environment like that. 100%. I 100% agree with that.
Yeah. And it's like, it's so hard for teachers. One teacher I had met with a few on a project that I was working on. Um, both are now psychologists, but one had started off in school. She was a teacher, and she's like, yeah, I can't do this because I can't make a difference. And she said, like, the administration is coming down on you and you need to get these scores up. And she's like, screw the scores and reading. This kid needs a snack and a hug.
Yeah.
That's how kids are getting sent to school. Not all of them, but enough of them that it's making the job impossible for people that really want to make a difference in children's lives.
Well, it's Maslow's before Bloom's, and educators should know those terms. And if you don't know Maslow's and you don't know Bloom's, go back and look at your basic psychology. But
Yeah.
Maslow, it talks about your basic needs have to be met: sleep, food,
Yeah.
water,
Yeah.
shelter.
Yeah.
Those have to be met first before anything else can happen.
Yeah.
And we have so many kids who, like we
Yeah.
said, are not getting the sleep that they need, which
Yeah.
impacts their emotional regulation and their mental health. And that goes for all ages because
Yeah.
people are not taking those devices away from them. They're not implementing bedtimes. They're too
That
busy.
goes for us.
Oh, same, right?
Like when I'm moody, when was the last time I ate? How well did I sleep last night? It's like,
Right.
oh.
Right. I mean, and the
Yep.
American Academy of Pediatrics recommends paying attention to changes in mood, sleep, appetite, withdrawal, or school performance as potential signs that kids may need extra support.
Right.
But until you provide that support and you get those things better, they're not able to learn. Like, no learning happens until basic needs are met.
Yeah.
And we learned that during COVID. Why do you think schools became the place that went out and gave lunches and distributed food to kids? That were the ones to provide the mental health and the counseling to these kids who are stuck at home. Like that, if you think back 6 years ago to it wasn't just about put the lessons online. Schools had to do all the things, and there was a very short time period in there where people realized how much the schools actually do for
Yeah.
kids outside of teaching and learning.
Yeah.
And then we forgot. And then those needs have increased astronomically since COVID. Um, and but no money has come in for that. No support.
No.
Yeah.
And twice the workload.
Yeah. So let's talk about exhausted parents. But since we've been on teachers too, exhausted teachers, you
Yeah.
know, the adults cannot pour from an empty cup.
No. No.
And so when we're too overwhelmed, our kids absorb our stress more than we realize.
Yes. And I think like again, I'm gonna take this back to the studio, but being around kids when there's world news going on that's
Mm,
got people wound up, the kids are like little spider monkeys.
yeah.
Like they, when we talk about they absorb that energy, like we are not joking. It is like a full moon every day of the week. Um, for those of you that don't know about the full moon, kids and animals on full moons. My
Full
mom actually
moons.
used to work ambulance, and she said more babies are born on full moons and more like crazy calls are done on full moons. And but our kids pick up all of it. They don't know that's what it is or why that's what it is, but they are energy sucking little like absorption sponges. And so we have to be careful when we're running on empty. Like, what kind of mental load, work stress, like finances, the caregiving, marriage stress. We've got those of us in perimenopause or menopause. You've got overpacked schedules, and we're trying to do it all. And the kids are watching, and they're
Mm-hmm.
watching how we handle it. Um, so we have to be like cognizant of how we talk to ourselves and how we respond under pressure and whether we rest, how we rest. Do you explode or do you regulate? And you'll notice this in your kids, like when they are tired or dysregulated, if you're somebody that snaps your answers, your kids will be snappy. If you're somebody that withdraws, your kids will withdraw. They are learning from you how to handle these emotions.
Yeah. 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 And it's so important to model emotional regulation,
Yes.
to teach kids how to apologize,
Yep.
to teach them how to take breaks, and that it is okay to take a break. It is okay to say no to that birthday party. It's okay to just have a day where it's a rainy day outside and you all just chill, right?
Yep.
It's okay to breathe or count before you react.
Right.
How to set boundaries. That's a huge one. I know
Yeah.
we're still learning that. And asking for help.
Yes. That one's huge, especially for um like do it yourself entrepreneurial type mothers.
What? Like us? Who?
Um,
You must be talking about other people. Um,
but how many times have you like been like, whatever, I'm gonna do it myself, it'll get done faster and better.
oh yeah.
all like it's a mantra in our heads and we need to stop because how do they learn to do it if we don't teach them?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, and for those of you that have older kids, just take an afternoon and go watch some Bluey episodes because I feel like Bluey has taught me more about parenting than like actual adults in my life.
Yeah.
Like if I had Bluey when my kids were little, I probably would have been a better parent.
There you go. There you go.
I know. It's great. It's great. Go
It
watch
is
some
great.
Bluey.
Go watch some Bluey. Um, do you know what show I wouldn't watch?
Which one?
Caillou.
Oh, I hate Caillou.
Everybody
He's
hates Caillou.
such a
He's the
brat.
whitest.
Oh, he's such a brat.
He's so like, oh my God.
Yeah, I would not let my kids watch Caillou. I was like, no, he's a brat. You're not going to be like him. No,
No.
thank you. Mm-mm. Nope.
How did the show ever make it?
I don't know, but man, I mean, you want to talk about an annoying kid. That
Could you
one is,
imagine if Caillou is your child's best friend?
oh, they would not be. I'd lose their phone number. Sorry, we're
Sorry,
busy.
they moved.
No play dates for you. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's funny.
All right, so let's talk about helping kids cope without trying to fix everything.
Oh, that's
Um,
hard.
Look, you cannot be the bulldozer.
No,
You cannot
please
bulldoze their
don't.
entire life. And I know it's hard because you want to, right? Like our instinct is to protect our kids.
Yeah.
We want to remove every hard emotion from their life. We do want them to be happy. We want them to live a happy life. You want it to be easy for them, but that's not life. And you know that. So you've got to help them build coping skills, or you are just going to take this person who is the size of an adult with possibly the intelligence of a high schooler adult, but the emotional regulation and the emotional intelligence of a toddler and
Yeah.
send them into the world. And what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
We've all been around 2-year-olds.
Yeah.
We know how they are. Do
Yeah.
you want to send your kid into the world like that because they act like a 2-year-old out in the world? The world's going to say, no, that's not okay. And they're going to end up in jail. They're just, I mean, like,
Well, or on anxiety meds and sad and helpless and so unsure of themselves.
yeah,
If I would challenge every parent to sit down, take a weekend, and write out all of the things that happened to you in your life that taught you the best lessons. Like I'm talking the gifts that come wrapped in crappy paper, the ones you didn't want that taught you your best lessons.
yeah,
And then think about who you would have been if that hadn't happened to you, if you hadn't been allowed to go through that, if you hadn't been supported through that time in your life, because it's a time, it's not forever, it's a period of your life that you're learning something from. And the best gifts come wrapped in the crappiest paper. And then think about who, if you like, when your kid goes through it, be the person you wish you would have had when you were going through it. Who did you need to show up? What did they need to say? Not to fix it, but to just make you know that you weren't alone.
yeah,
Like, that's really, I think, what we need to do as parents, even as educators and coaches, too. Like, be aware of what's going on, but help your kids develop resilience and some recovery skills because
mhm,
that is how confidence is built. It is not given, it is earned.
right. It's a skill. It is a skill,
It's a skill.
and it has to be practiced, and it has to be practiced
Developed.
often. And,
Yes.
and so just listening to them, saying things like, that sounds really hard.
Yeah.
I can see why you're upset. Um, you can handle hard things. And then
Yeah.
ask them, do you want help or do you just want someone to listen?
Yep.
Because, like, the development of a crisis, I actually just went to training on this. Um, but the development of a crisis, when a person is becoming emotionally dysregulated,
Yeah.
the first thing is they become anxious, right? So there is something that happens that is activating that fight, flight, or fear.
Yeah.
And it's not always rational, but something is happening that is kind of setting them off. They become anxious. They usually want to vent. And if you can just be empathetic, if you can sit there and listen and let them get it out, a lot of times you can stop the process, right?
Yeah.
The next step is they get a little more dysregulated, right? They become combative in their words usually. Like
Yeah.
they kind of like they start saying no, or they're not going to do this, or those kinds of things are coming out. I'm not doing this. I don't want to. I'm not, no, like those things.
Yeah.
They become defensive. That's where you become directive and you give them two choices. That's where you become, if you sit down and do this right now, I will be back in 2 minutes to talk with you.
Yeah.
Can you do that? It's got to be very like 1, 2. Usually you can cut it off there.
Yeah.
Their needs aren't met there, they're going to amp up even more, right? Then they're going to start to threaten. Then they're going to start to do things that are reactive,
Yeah.
like, and then they're going to totally flip, and they have this giant emotional release.
Yeah.
And so, like with every step, if you can help walk them through with what you say, with what you do, how you handle things, by staying calm and helping them learn to regulate. And then, like we said, once they've re regulated, to go back and talk them through, hey, here are the things that you did well. Here are
Yeah.
the things you did right. Like, I have one student who, she is extremely emotionally disabled. She's got an emotional disability. She becomes dysregulated over. It can be anything really, but like when she goes. Like it's like 0 to 1,000 really
Yeah.
fast. And so we've been working on, when you feel it coming, I need you to come and ask for help.
Yeah.
We haven't always gotten there.
Yeah.
But like last week, she did. She came up and she wanted to talk to a counselor. And then she had the full emotional release, the screaming, the yelling, the crying, more screaming, more yelling, more kicking the desk, more crying, but like in a safe place
Yeah.
instead of in the classroom.
Yeah.
Like that's a huge step for her.
Yes.
You know, and then after she finally came down and we were able to talk to her, like, you did the right thing. You did what you were supposed to do. Like, you feel the way you feel and you're going to have to let it out. We understand that and we know that, but you did it in the right place. Like, the only thing that was wrong is we shouldn't kick desks, like,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, but there's nothing wrong with you venting and expressing how you're feeling. But how many times do we have that conversation with kids? How many times do we help them then build skills to not even get to that point? I mean, we're talking, this is a 16-year-old that's here acting like what I would say is a 2-year-old fit.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's a lot,
It's a lot.
that's a lot. And um, when we try to rescue them from every discomfort,
They don't
they
learn how to do it themselves.
no. And they're 16, still acting like a 2-year-old,
Yeah.
because they
Well,
don't have the skills to emotionally regulate before they get to that point.
yeah. And you can do this as a baby. Like I read when the boys were like babies, there's a book called Secrets of the Baby Whisperer. And she talked about putting your child to bed awake as a baby. And then when they wake up, like how to redo the system, how to like there was a whole routine that you did to lay your baby down to put themselves to sleep so that when they wake up in the middle of the night, they can self regulate themselves to bed without crying and screaming and mom having to get up. Guess who that's good for? Baby and mom. The
Yep.
whole house, really, right?
Yep.
So if we can do that with infants, and by just setting up routines, by being consistent with what happens, it builds that safety net around the kids that they know that they can rely on this, they can count on this, and they can do this.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if that 16-year-old girl would have had
Routines.
boundaries, routines put in place, and some boundaries on when we're upset. This is what we're going to do. This is the routine. This is how we're going to, and it was consistently reinforced.
Yep.
And consistency is like the hardest part of parenting, and yet where the gold is.
Correct.
Because you
Consistency and
can,
routines. Absolutely. I mean, and that's why a lot of kids do. I hear this from parents too. My kid does so well at school, or my kid does so well at dance, and then they come home and they're a terror.
yep,
Consistency and routines, because they know what to expect. The
yeah,
expectations are set for them, they're communicated, they're clear, and they're upheld.
yeah,
And it doesn't change. So while it is more regulated, they find safety in that. And they are
yep.
able to go with exactly what is supposed to happen. They will conform to those routines and those expectations. But then, as parents, either your life is so crazy, sometimes it's in your control and sometimes it's not, but they're missing that safety. They're missing that consistency in those routines. Do you have a bedtime routine? Even as teenagers, do you have a bedtime routine? Do you have movement routine? Do they know what happens when they come home from school? Are they getting like enough sleep, and are you limiting their phone time? Do you have chores or downtime or hobby, like things that just give them that consistency
Oh,
and routine? And, and parents will say too, like, my kids are so good during the year. And then everything stops. And then we hit summer and they're like wild animals. And I can't wait to give them back. I'm like, consistency and routines.
gee,
This is
yep,
why you need to keep the activities going throughout the summer,
yeah.
dropping everything when school stops, and then you drop dance and you drop everything, and now they're just like free range chickens. No wonder they're
How to be
losing their
bored.
mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I also like just on the phones. I had a mom come to me once about her daughter, and she goes, I know something's going on. Like, she goes, she is just not herself, and she hasn't been for weeks. And I'm like, have you checked her phone? And she goes, I can't do that. And we have the same opinion on this, Megan. And I was like, really? I'm like, why not? She goes, well, what about her privacy? And I'm like, well, she's not naked on her phone. Like, it's not like opening the bathroom door. But I'm like, and I said, well, I think we have a different view on this as parents. I said, my children know that their phone is not theirs, like, and that I will be checking it. Full stop.
Full
That was
stop.
part of the deal before they got one. And
Yep.
so if I said, hand me your phone, they will hand me their phone and I will go through it, and nothing is off limits. And I'm like, your child kind of has to, in a way, earn their right to privacy by good behavior. If you have somebody that's always coming in late on their phone late at night, sneaking it into their bedroom, if your household rules are that they are plugged in and charged in the kitchen, or which I would highly recommend everybody do, don't let them use it as their alarm clock. They're on their phone at 2 and 3 in the morning. Ask your teacher which
Yep.
kids are on the phone at 2 or 3 in the morning, and they'll be able to tell you because of the conversations that are had in the classroom about it. So I don't, and that's a tricky one. Like, if you trust your kids, great. I hope everybody feels they can, but trust is earned through repeated action and good behavior. And if you ever are worried and it's your teenager, that would be the first place that I would look.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
they hide things because they're trying to figure it out.
But they need guidance through it. I
Yeah. And you're
mean,
not their friend, you're their parent.
oh, that can be a whole episode right there. Um,
Yeah.
wow. Yeah. That is
Right?
honestly the kids that I see in school and that I've seen over 25 years of being in the public school system, thousands and thousands and thousands of kids. The
Yeah.
ones that struggle the most are the kids whose parents want to be their friend and
Yeah.
who act like their friend instead of their parent.
Yeah.
Full stop.
Yeah.
Full stop. Um, and like I know we grew up being told to toughen up. I mean, that was rub some dirt on it, suck it up, buttercup, brush it off, and move on. And now kids are being taught to be terrified of discomfort.
Yeah.
And we've got to find a healthier middle ground.
Around.
Because I'm
Yeah.
not saying the way that we were raised was good and great. There is generational trauma that we've had, and there's tons of generational trauma that our parents had,
Yeah.
but that we are all trying to overcome. But it's like we've almost swung the pendulum so
Too.
far to the other side that now we're creating generational trauma for our kids with us not engaging, not letting them experience discomfort. And it's causing a lot of problems. So many problems.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about like the emotional dysregulation that happens when you're trying to help your sixth grader with their math homework, because dear God, that new math that everybody talks about, like yes,
Yeah.
I know, and that will send everybody over the edge. Usually the parents first, but
Yeah.
um, we've got to find a way to do
Yeah.
better for our kids.
Well, and in our house, it's like, you'll never use that anyways.
I honestly tell my kids that too. When Reagan was like trying to figure out she had to take, four maths, right? Like fine.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, should I take AP statistics? And I was like, girl, you're not going to use any of this. Like
Take accounting.
take math four and move on. Like, come
Yeah.
on now. Like this is not, unless
Yes.
you're going to be an engineer, honey, it is not your gift. Let's go the easy route.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to judge you.
Don't die on that hill. Yeah.
No. Oh my, please don't,
Please.
because it's no, it's too stressful for everybody involved. So,
Right. Oh my gosh.
oh,
But the kids do need healthy coping skills like movement, sleep, all the things we talked about, even breathing exercises and some hobbies that aren't maybe necessarily competitive, like coloring books. Remember the good old days of coloring books?
yeah. Journaling. I mean, remember we
Journaling?
like journaled, then we had the gratitude journal that Oprah made famous.
Yeah.
All those things that put there, because you are you are what you believe, right? And your experience is what you see in the world. I actually watched this show. It's an interesting one. There's this show on HBO called The Comeback. It's got Lisa
Okay.
Kudrow in it.
Okay.
And it's about this actress and it's weird. Like I couldn't figure it out at first because it was in 2005.
Okay.
Then the second season was in 2014. And then the third season just came out in 2026. And I was so confused, like so confused. I was like, wait, why would they all be like so far apart? But I think honestly, it was done intentionally. And it follows her in 2005. She starts out as this actress who had been on this sitcom back in the early 90s, 80s, right?
Yeah.
And had fame. And then she was trying to come back and have a second act. And so they cast her on this new sitcom coming out, but also wanted her to do a reality show about her comeback. And so it follows her through this. Then the second season, she has another comeback, right? And there's a reality show that goes with that. And then the third season's like this thing. And it's a dry comedy, but the thing about her character is she's always so positive. So like crap happens to her. She gets humiliated like on, it's Hollywood, right? Like
Yeah.
they treat her like crap. They talk about her, like people blame her for things that aren't her fault. Like they try to cancel her at one point. It's just think about like all the things that can happen to like a famous person. And through it all, she constantly is looking for the positive. She's looking for that silver lining. She's not realizing that she's mentoring other people to always be kind, to always like treat people with respect and to help people out and, and to talk them up, not talk them down. And like so you see her doing all of this and you almost feel like she's so naive and almost dumb and sets herself up for a lot of this throughout it. But then you realize like honestly that's why she ends up later with some success because she is that good person, that kind person, the one who always sees the positive, who lets the crap roll off her back and goes through some really terrible situations, but always finds a way through. And we forget that that's life, right? And that good things do come to good people and good things will happen if that's what you're focused on. But if you're always focused on the bad and you let yourself wallow in it, you're never going to find the good.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
And that's what we need to teach kids,
Right?
right? Like we're all going to have crappy things happen to us.
Yeah.
And some take on far more than they should ever have to. But you have a choice in how you react to it, how
Yeah.
you see it, and what comes from it, and where you go with it.
Yes. Yes. Well, I love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's a good one to watch, but you definitely have to, like, yeah, it takes a minute. I was like, wait, I'm confused. um, yeah.
Uh,
It, yeah. I can't tell you how important this is. And I really do hope that people share this um, because we have a generation that we're going to lose if we don't help these kids out.
yeah.
And we're seeing it every day um, because this anxiety, this level of emotional dysregulation, suicide is the number one killer of kids,
Yeah.
not car accidents, not guns, not it is suicide. We have
And
kids who don't want to be here because they feel so bad and they don't know how to handle the emotions that they feel and nobody has taught them.
yeah. And we're not talking teenagers either. Like there
No.
is a suicide rate now for 5 to 10-year-olds, and it is growing.
And it's not always bullying, y'all. It is not. It is not.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So we've got work to do. As the grown-ups, we have to do better.
Yeah, we do. We do. So today's episode is probably what a lot of parents needed to hear, including us. I feel like I needed to retouch on some of these things.
Hmm. Yeah, because raising kids right now is emotionally intense. And there's no manual. There is no manual for balancing support, boundaries, mental health, technology, in real life all at once,
Yeah. And one thing we can do is stop pretending everyone is fine when clearly most of us are overwhelmed.
including us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Your child does not need a perfect parent who always says the right thing.
But they need a safe parent, a connected parent, a parent willing to listen, to learn, to apologize, and to keep showing up.
And maybe also a parent who, occasionally takes their own advice, drinks some water, sleeps more than 5 hours, and stops the doom scrolling at midnight.
Yeah, our phones should go on the kitchen counter as well. And we're all works in progress around here.
Truly, though. So thank you for hanging out with us for another episode of No Bras Required.
And if this episode resonated with you, share it with another parent who's trying to raise emotionally healthy kids while also keeping themselves emotionally upright.
And we'll see you next time.
Our goal for this podcast is to be that village where we can have those deeper conversations. We can talk about the serious things and walk each other home from diapers to death and all the things that come in between, but also to bring the humor and our crazy squirrel moments and all of our funny stories that we've lived from parenting to entrepreneurship to just being us and the adventures that we come up with. But we want to build a community and be those people to give you some sound advice that, maybe makes you giggle a little bit every once in a while.
So thank you for tuning in. Subscribe, share with your favorite hot mess mom friends, and give us a follow on Instagram at No Bras Required Pod.
Every week, we'll drop a new episode tackling everything from marriage and mom guilt to leadership and loss with humor, heart, and maybe a little tequila or wine. So bring your favorite drink and join us every week.